Hello, everyone. You are welcome to the Black Female Entrepreneur Greenwich. As we celebrate the African months, we have been deliberating a lot of issue about Africa, what make it a great continent. We have looked into some of the challenges. We've looked into some of the great skills, some of the contribution, and what more can we do to make this continent a better place as we celebrate the African month. And as part of this celebration, the Black female entrepreneur and other African community are also having the African festival, which is starting immediately after the African month from the month of June to September. And I hope you all join us. Today, panel discussion is very key because they say health is wealth. Without a good health, you don't have a base, because if you are a very healthy person, it actually helps to impact in different aspects of your life. And in line with the UNESCO vision for Africa 2024, is say educate and support the Africa fit for the 21st century. And that is why our conversation today will be looking at health and well-being of Africa, the health system that they have in Africa. How does it actually fit for the 21st century? The hospital, the healthcare system, does it have the equipment fit for the 21st century? Can we boast for the health system available, even both in the rural area, in the developed area? Let's have the conversation. My today panel, I have some very important people in the panel today, and I know they're going to do justice to it. I have Dr. Messi in the house, who will be looking at some of the health side and also giving us those theology. You know, she used to say, I know she's going to say those words. I can't, I mean, I'm dyslexic. I can't say those big. health health word, but I know she's gonna be bringing some of those. So put your ear there and get your dictionary by your side. So I should bring out those heavy mental health word. You can be able to go to your dictionary and find what the meaning is. But I know she's gonna deliberate it. I want to say big congratulations to Messi for actually getting a doctorate degree. Well done, Dr.
Oh,
Messi in the house. And also for my one and
yes.
honorable, Honorable Ogaga in the building, aka Blade in the house. We'll be looking at it from the community aspect, from the activism aspect, and saying, do we have a good health system in Africa that fit for the 21st century? What can we do more? Other of my panel will be Adi Garati, will be joining us soon. Um, we also have um, Julius that will be or Julian that will be joining us soon to talk from the area of the men's health, looking at prostate cancer, looking at other issues, the mental health awareness. We also have Nadine that will also be joining us to talk about it, looking at, because you know in Africa, for whatever reason, some group of people have decided to split us into sardine and bread, where you have the French colony, the English colony. It's not sardine and bread. So Nadine will be speaking from the Franco-Say community group. What the system we have in Africa, in this different part of Africa, is there similarity? Did they have a good system? Does the colonial master need to play more role? Does the foreign investor need to play more role? So, guys, without wasting too much of your time, if you give me the whole day, I will talk. That is my 2.2 talking. So, guys, you're welcome to the BFEG. For those of you watching us, this is actually streamed live on all our social media platform. Today is stream live. You can watch us live on our Facebook page. You can watch us live on our YouTube page. You can watch us live on Twitter. Just go to Black Female Entrepreneur Greenwich, and you will see. Go on Twitter, type BFEG Greenwich. Go on YouTube, type BFEG, and go on Facebook, type BFEG Greenwich, and you will see us live and direct. I hope this network will not play with us today. So over to, I'm gonna just give our panel girls to actually introduce themselves, and then we will shoot on. So we have a lot of events coming up soon. We have a couple of, we're going to be here again. I think we have another panel coming on the, is it 13? I'm going to check before we run out. But our two major events, outdoor event that is coming up, is the African Pop-Up Market live at Woolwich Library, and also African Day celebration at Kibru Community Hub. It's going to be a lot of activities. Go and check our website to see the breakdown of activities happening. So you can actually check what is happening on our website, or you can actually email us and we can update you. So it's www.blackfemaleentrepreneur.greenwich.com, and then you can see some of the event lineup. So Messi, is Messi in the building? I know Ogaga, for whatever reason, I think the network is playing on. Just left it. So if Messi, if you're there, we're going to hand over the mic onto you to introduce yourself, and then we get on with the panel. I know there's somebody has sent a message. Let me see. I'm trying to have notification, but it's made on follow. Okay. So guys, today we'll be picking a lot of questions from our YouTube page, because last week there was a lot of people that actually sent a lot of questions on the YouTube page, which we were unable to answer. But I did say some of this conversation we're having, we're going to have a phase 2 in June as we progress into the African festival. And that phase 2 in June, we'll be looking at some of those questions that a lot of people has actually put onto us, asking us those questions. Those questions will be spring back to our panel so that our panel can have a good discussion about that. So while we're waiting for other of our panel guests to join us, I want to say to you guys, health is wealth. And a lot of us that are back here in Europe, we will say we're privileged. We're privileged. The NHS in UK is one of the greatest thing the government has done. So we can't fault it. NHS giving someone basic health is one of the greatest thing. And we're going to give kudos to the UK government for actually keeping the NHS running. And they should continue to keep it running, because this is something that everybody seek for in their country. And the way the NHS is being run, make sure that everyone have access to it is key. UNESCO law, WHO, NICE law, very important, very important. Health is wealth. And we've seen over the years, when there's any health outbreak of sickness, illness, the third world country suffer the most. You understand? They suffer a lot because the health system there is nothing to write home about. And we're not just only calling on the government of Africa as we celebrate the African month. We're also calling, I'm going to be the devil advocate here. We're also calling on foreign investors. Those foreign investors, you know where you are coming from. There's no way you will be taking from the community without giving back to the community. You're going there to set up your company, not only set up your company, as you are building it, I believe there's some blocks, there's some cement, there's some infrastructure that is left over. Build a clinic. Build a clinic and equip that clinic. Even if you cannot build an hospital, build a clinic and actually equip that clinic with There's no reason for you to just build a building and don't have enough resources in it. Build a clinic. We're also seeking that you equip those clinics with the right equipment that is fit for the 21st century. Put the right equipment there. Give people scholarship to go and get a good health education. Sometimes we undermine the work of health cares. You understand? Or there's something they used to call back home auxiliary nurses. They are very important. They are key. Educate them. Give them more training. Give them more support so that they can be able to perform their duty. It's key. We're also seeking for the importance of actually making sure that those healthcare professionals are updated, are trained with updates. There's no need of you supporting people. People go to school, go to acquire knowledge. 10 years down the line, they've not updated their record. So it's very key. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to go straight and I'm going to ask one of our guests, Ogaga, to introduce themselves. I don't know. I think Mercy internet is fluctuating. It's evening. The internet keeps fluctuating. But I hope today we're able to do it properly. Over to you, Ogaga.
Sorry, I got cut off. We've been having network issues since yesterday, so I had to be switching from one network to the other. So I hope it will allow us to enjoy our program today.
I hope so.
Yeah. So this is Ogaga. I'm a writer. So basically, so good to be with you today. Good evening.
You are definitely welcome on board. So while we're waiting for other guests to introduce themselves, I'm just going to go straight to you. Like the topic said, hello, Mr. Julian. You're welcome to our today's show. And we look forward to your deliberation, to your summit, to your controversial. I don't know if it's going to be controversial or it's going to be straight on board. We don't know. Let's see. Over to you. Introduce yourself before I go as everyone coming in.
Well, my name is Julian. Oh, a lot of people call me Jules, or some other people call me JC. And it's nice being here tonight to talk about the things men are going through and what women are going through as well. And the whole world is actually feeling it. We're talking about the breast cancer. We're talking about the prostate cancer. And when we talk about prostate, there are two things we talk about it. The growth of prostate, the cure in prostate, and the management of prostate before it evolved to the cancer level, which killed a lot of people. Then we'll talk about how women are being catered for or cared about in Africa. Very, very important that most of the people in Africa today overlook women, irrespective of how important they are. They are part of us. They are our wing. They are our beds. They are women. They are our mothers. And women evolve in 4 different stages. We're going to talk about it and see how we can help them improve. The girl child is a community for tomorrow. So I'm here to represent BFEG people, irrespective. Black female, that's what I'm here for. And I'm here to talk about them. Right.
Thank you very much, Julius. Mercy, can you on your camera? Let's hear from you. Are you there, Mercy?
I don't know what happened to my camera.
You just have to tap on it for it to get on.
Sorry, I'm just rotting. I was driving when I tried to connect. Then Mr. Pascal actually pressed the message you sent as what to watch, and you're like, okay, talk. I said, no, this is YouTube. That we're watching YouTube. We're not even doing what we're supposed to do. So
you're welcome. Mercy, over to you. Can you introduce yourself? Mercy, introduce yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
hear you, but we can't see you.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm trying to put on. I'm clicking
Okay,
on my camera.
okay. You know what to
Disconnect and
do?
come back.
Yes.
You know what to do? No,
Disconnect
no,
and
no. She doesn't need to go off and come back. Go to the your tools. Hello,
My two
or click on the dots down there
on the dots
on those
down here.
dots. Yeah, when you click on those dots, it's going to show you microphone. I'm going to show you stop.
Where are the dots?
It's on the
Slow
base, or it's on the baseline.
on the best. Yes, yes. Say
Yeah,
more.
so you see that the camera is crossed. Click on that camera, and it's going to get uncrossed.
Yes.
Did you get it now?
No.
You definitely get to see it.
I go back and then it says skip incoming video.
No, just click on the camera.
I
We're
just
gonna
do
go.
this.
We're gonna go on. Mercy, introduce yourself. Then later you sort your camera out. Go on. Go on. Go
Once you
on.
click on it, it's going to open up.
Once I click on it, it says stop incoming videos. When I click on the three dots,
No,
No,
when you
Mercy,
click on
leave
the three
that.
dots, it's going to show you camera.
No,
it's not.
Mercy, leave that. Just introduce yourself and go and let us know. Let's introduce
Okay,
yourself.
then that's fine. Thank you so much. Technology. I don't know what's happening here, but I don't know if you can all hear me. Yes?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, great. My name is Dr. Mercy. I am one of the directors for BFEG. And today it's a very good and privileged time to be surrounded by all of you guys.
I've asked you to put your video. Click on what I asked you.
Okay. I've clicked on it and it just disappeared.
I think the best thing is to disconnect,
Start my
disconnect and
video.
reconnect.
Start
No,
my
man,
video.
she needs to go out and come back. She needs to go out and come back.
Okay, so where do I go out?
No, come out,
Just
connect yourself from the Zoom thing, then come back.
Okay, just
Okay, over to you, Ogaga. Can you give your summit before Mercy coming? Go on.
okay. There's a very personal topic, mental health and healthcare system in Africa, and also talking about prostate cancer because I lost my dad May 4th, 2021. So this is the Remembrance Month. So it's a very tough one for us. We don't forget the memory, the pain is always fresh, but it gets fresher when you have the anniversary month where you have to remember and the memories, the flashback. It's touching. And so one thing I came to also understand within the whole situation, if you haven't really experienced, if you've not lost someone dear to you, if you haven't really experienced what mental health is, it's difficult to understand and it's difficult to share with. Imagine it's common when you talk about depression that you've been depressed. You will just see people who like, how can a human being be depressed? It's a kind of word I hear every day. And I look at these people and I get surprised, And also those days, comforting people who've lost loved ones seemed to be very easy. But when it came home, now understood what they go through. And so this is a very emotional topic, and which is not really, attention is not really paid to that in Africa. And in fact, we feel hunger, poverty, the struggles we face every day as a major problem. And so people don't talk about mental health. In fact, most people don't even understand what mental health is anyway, until you explain what it is. Worst hit is men who cannot speak because it seems the society or the culture feels men should be able to hide their feelings. And so men feel embarrassed to talk about depression, to talk about mental health issues. You know, women are more outspoken, or even if women can't speak, women can express themselves through their actions. Either they're snubbing you, either they're angry, you know, something is wrong. So you can easily know, like a woman that is pregnant, her episodes are disturbance and nagging, you know, so you can easily tell. But for men, it's much more difficult. And this is not being paid attention, despite the fact, as we'll expand later, we have lots of mental health psychiatric hospitals that could take care of these needs, or will have the stigma there. We also have the financial implication because it's not cheap. I've had to deal with friends, lots of people who've had mental health issues are outside of depression, serious mental health issues. I've had to accompany to the hospitals. I've had to see the pains the families go through. And I've had to see the costs of these drugs. And so when people can't even have their basic meals, you're talking about paying attention to a one family member out of the large ones to get a drug for not for a day, for a month, and for years. It's a tough one. We'll expand on this later. Then another problem we also have is that no attention is also paid to the caregivers. Even if you don't have a mental health issues, but you are a caregiver to someone who is having mental health issue or who is sick, who is in the hospital, or you have to care for at home, the whole process, the whole time also tells on the caregivers. And these caregivers end up developing serious mental health issues, which attention is not paid to. And it's also common in Africa, in Nigeria, where you see a lot of persons with mental health issues because their families are tired of taking care of them. You see them roaming along the streets. People say, this person is a madman, but he's communicating. He comes to a shop, he buys what he wants to eat, he pays for it. You can't even cheat him or her. He gets his change, but he's either naked or half naked, looking ragged, looking rough, sleeping in the streets, having episodes in the streets. But for that person to go to a shop and know what he wants to buy and gives you money and gets the correct change, what does it tell? It shows that the government, those who should take care of these persons, have failed. Because if this person can do that, it means this person is redeemable. If this person is taken to a healthcare center, is provided for, this person can recover within few years. So it's a serious issue. And it's very, very embarrassing when your streets are filled with people with mental disabilities. It's a shame where the community leaders, the politicians, the people who should take care of these people, they pass the drive and they see their communities, their societies are filled up with these people. Some just get knocked off by cars at night. Some were in the rainy season now, where some have their episodes, serious one, in the rain, or they're sleeping outside and they're washed away by the flood. And the most embarrassing of all is that when these ones die by the roadside, the same way they have been abandoned while they were alive, they are also abandoned even at death. You see, the corpse will be left there for days, messing up the environment. It tells a lot about our humanity. That humanity is far from us in Africa. We might be industrious, we might be intelligent, we might be, well, I think about one of the most intelligent in the world, the most hardworking, the most devoted people. But the truth is, humanity is far from us. When you want to mention humanity, you can't count Africa. You can't. That's the raw facts. So it tells a lot. But if we look at it, is that how Africa started? No. If we look at the culture in the villages, in the local areas, there was humanity where the community come together, stand for themselves, help themselves. And so we need to find out what went wrong, that we lost the humanity our forefathers had, or some of them had. So that's just a summary of everything. Maybe we'll talk later as the show develops.
Really enlighten us on the area of humanity, because health without humanity, there's no health. And this is something we sing even when even back here in Europe, we say people need to have empathy. When you are caring for people, when you go to deal with people with their health issue, no matter what type of health issue they are having, you need to have empathy. If you that is on the top, or you that is the caregiver, or you that is the medical person, or you that is the one making the decision for people's health or looking after them, if you don't have empathy, a lot of people, it's not a medication that you give to them that actually make them to live long or make them to get well. It's the care that you offer them. And now bringing it back to Africa. Yes, we have this in Africa. We talk about this community. You have people coming together. They want to support. But one of the key things is about the availability of resources for them to support you. Even those people that want to support themselves, they cannot even cater for themselves. They don't have enough money they don't have transportation to go to the hospital. When you go to the hospital, they have to prescribe you medication. You've not eaten, how can you even buy medication? Even though you have access to the medication, even the medication is free, you get the medication. If you have not eaten, how can you take drug without food? You understand? So those two things actually work together. Then you go to the hospital, you don't have a lot of all our qualified doctors and nurses, they've moved to Europe. Yeah, they've all jackpot. They've all moved on. So you have mostly fewer doctors. You go to hospital 3 days, 4 days. You are queuing to see a doctor. You've not seen a doctor, and then you have the auxiliary nurse who sometimes they over prescribe, that cause people's problems. So we're gonna come to that. I'm gonna go straight to Mercy. Mercy, your camera, you have to turn it the other way because you are sliding.
Okay.
Yeah, like this. Put it that way. Yeah.
This way?
Yeah, this way. That's better. That's better.
Okay.
So
okay.
Mercy, over to you. Over to you.
Okay.
So
thank you. Yes, thank you everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. So when we come together in a situation like this, it's always a situation where we're empowering one another, educating one another, making the other people to see what they don't see and what you can actually see yourself. And this is what we call education. Education opens people's minds, people's brains, people's understanding, people's way of looking at things. So ignorance is one thing that makes people not to reach their goals, and one thing that makes people not to actually appreciate who they are. And it's not because they don't want to, just because they don't know what they don't know. And because they don't know what they don't know, they're always not knowing what is happening around them. So when we talk about diseases and illnesses, these are things that are acquired in a human body. So the way the human body functions is that it is a one instrument, and this instrument is made up of the inside and the outside. So what we're talking about here, we are talking of an individual who come from a minute single cell, and this cell has been put together and it becomes a tissue. And those tissues, when we put them together, it becomes an organ. When these organs are put together, then it becomes a system. No, when we have a system, these a system are put together, they are now creating a body, which is you and me. So inside each one of us, we've got these cells that we started with. When we were actually made from our mother's womb, we started with a cell that came up from a sperm and then met with an egg, and then it produced a zygote. It produced that zygote that grew up to become ourselves. So now I want you to have an understanding of the concept that how a human being is actually created and what constitutes a human being. As I say, you've got these cells, you've got the organs, you also have the systems, and you have the whole body. So what happens is this: if you don't look after yourself, sometimes it's not about looking after yourself. There are genetics, and there are the things as well that can cause this thing to go wrong. It's just like a car. It has got an engine. Inside the engine, there's lots of parts that are in there that can go wrong and they need to be fixed. So as a human being. So what happens is this: if anything goes wrong into your system, for an example, a minute cell, if that cell is attacked by an infection or a virus, this can escalate, and this one single cell can spread to other cells. And when it spreads to other cells, it is contaminating other cells in our body. And now they can become cancerous. This is why when somebody is unwell, they always do tests. They can either take a biopsy or they do things that go into the lab so that they can actually investigate what is actually happening within your system. So I don't know if we are going to go through all of these. Maybe I'll just do one single thing at the moment and then somebody else will take over, because it is very difficult if we could all talk about everything. But the most important thing here,
if you can pick on the cancer area, because I think Jill is going to talk about prostate. If you pick on breast cancer, and
yes.
then you not bring it down, will not come down to the other part.
Okay, so now when we are looking at the breast cancer, so the breast itself, it is a composition of cells and muscles, and these muscles, they are part of the system. So the breast itself, it is very fragile. So it can be attacked by infection, or there could be abnormal cells that can attack the breast area. So when we mean abnormal cells, we mean that the cells that constitute or that build up the breast, there's so many words that I can bring out here, but you won't remember them. So let's just look at it. the breast itself as it is like this, and it has got a nipple on its own. So now it is all made up of the cell and the tissues that have been compressed together, come together to make that. So what it means that inside that breast, it can be attacked by either a single cell that can be abnormal. When I say abnormal, it means that the shape of that cell might be distorted. And when it is distorted, it might grow bigger than any other cells, and it is expanding, taking space. And when it does that, that's how you can feel a little lump inside your breasts. So for every woman, you need to feel your breast, make sure that there is no lump that is growing inside your breast. But not every lump that grows in your breast is cancerous. Some lumps, they're fatty lumps. When I say fatty lumps, it's just a constitution of the fat. Remember, as I said before, if we eat carbohydrates, agege bread, rice, biscuits, any processed food that we eat, they are high carbohydrates. These foods, the body does not digest those kind of foods. It keeps them. And when it keeps them, they turn into sugar. When they turn into sugar, they make us to have weight on ourselves, increased in sizes, body mass index, right? So when this happens, you need to be exercising a little bit more so that you can burn that sugar that is already gone into your bloodstream. So when it turns to the carbohydrates, turns into sugar, they now dissolve into your bloodstream and they're moving into your bloodstream. When they are moving into your bloodstream, that's when the doctors say you've got high blood sugar. This means is hyperglycemia. So when you have that, now your breast cancer, now that lump that is inside there, not every lump is cancerous, as I say, but they can do a biopsy. Biopsy means that they have to get into that lump and take some sample and take it to the lab. When they take it to the lab, they are going to detect whether this what they took from the lab, is it cancerous, is it infectious, or is it just fatty lump? If it is fatty lump, sometimes it just disappears by itself. It could be a little bit harder, but it won't be anything that you be scared of. They would have told you that it's a fatty lump. But as years go by, it might disappear or it might not disappear. So if you are the person who wants it to be removed, you can get it removed. But there's no guarantee that when it's removed, it's not coming back again. These are fatty lumps. As we get older, we have all these lumps that are coming up, and these lumps, they can grow anywhere in the body. It doesn't really matter who you are, but it's just the things that are just starting to grow or one way or the other. So we need to have an understanding of that. So if you check your breast all the time to make sure the shape of your breast is in the right. Remember, every woman has got one breast that is smaller than the other. No one has the breasts that are equal. They're all different. It is because of the mechanism of the left hand and the right hand. So you all have slightly different, but that does not mean to say that everybody who has got non-symmetric breasts, they have to be, they're different types of breasts, but we need to be checking. And I also advise men to also be able to help their women by checking this and see if there are any lumps or if there is any difference in their breast. Sometimes it could be hardness. The whole breast is hard and it is tender and it is painful. Then in that way, we need to get checked as soon as possible. Whether fatty lump, whether any lump, you need to report this to your GP so that it gets checked. There is a mammogram where everybody has to go. They will check you in and put your breast in, and they will be able to check. The machine very good, and it's quite therapeutic. So you can get that checked, and they can confirm whether your breasts are okay or whether they need to do a little bit of a biopsy. Yeah. So I will stop here.
Thank you very much for actually analyzing. Before you go, while you're deliberating on the because I've attended a lot of health workshop in Greenwich and health awareness, and I know one of the things that Greenwich is they were talking the last health workshop I attended about cancer, and they did say that there's a low turnout for African women going for the breast cancer screening. In fact, and also going for the what's it called? You know, the test you do, SME test. So a lot of people, even for the prostate cancer, a lot of men are not, actually the African community, the Black community, they are not actually going, even when they send them later to go. Some of them, maybe it's either they, I don't know if it's belief or they are not aware, or they don't feel connected, or they don't believe in the health system. So from your experience as a nurse, in your profession as a doctor, can you tell us? Can you just, I will not say, can you just give a little bit advice on how it is important that we all go for this test?
Well, yes, it is important we all go for this test, but we should not forget the fact that Africa, every African continent, we have organic food, right? They eat food that is organic. So most of these cancerous illnesses, they're very rare to be found. They are found, but they're very rare. So we've got a lot of herbal medicines. We have a lot of help before we can actually use the Western medicine. So that is one thing as well. So for the African people to start thinking of cancer, that is the last resort they would ever think of, because they are blessed with long life because of the type of food they eat, right? So now, coming into the Western world, most of our food, all of it is genetically modified food. What it means is that this food is not organic. It has been produced for mass production so that everyone has food on the table. So we have to understand that. Because it's genetically modified, this food has preservatives and chemicals they have put in there. So these are the things that interact with our body, and it causes us to come across all of this. Even the water that we drink, it has got chlorine, it has got chemicals, because they need to clean it and wash it using other chemicals so that it can come to us presenting it to be clean. And still, as clean as it is, most people will not drink water from the tap, but they would prefer to buy spring water or water that is a little extra purified. So these are some of the things. And now, for you to tell any African person that this is what is happening, this is what, and they will tell you that, look, there's nothing that can harm. In my family, we live up to 100, we live up to 80, we live up to, so there is also genetics. The same applies to cancer. Cancer can also be genetics. It can run in the family. And you find that very few, I don't know if people from Africa, most African countries have been looking at researches, they're saying that a lot of people in Africa, not many people have cancer. But the moment most people, when they come into this country, that's when we heard that, oh, they've been diagnosed of cancer, which means their system might not have been compatible with the system in the Western, just because of the things they are now eating inside them. I'll give you an example of some products from Nigeria, some products are from Ghana, and some products are from the Caribbeans. These products, they are original and they're organic. But now, when they come here, they might need, because of mass production, add some more to it so that it can cover everybody. I'll give you palm oil. They can take palm oil, they can add a little bit of it so that you, me, everybody can have a bottle. Otherwise, if they don't do that, how much more do we get from Africa to be exported to this country? This is why now most things are being artificially made, because somebody is quite intelligent to look at it. If I add this chemical and that chemical and that, and add a little bit of one bottle and then shake it up with a little bit of oil, vegetable oil, then I'll be able to produce 10 bottles of palm oil. And I know that these people will buy it. We are buying it, but we don't actually know what chemicals were put inside there. They do rice. So, oh, okay, these people, they like to eat rice. What can I do? So they genetically make some plastics that look like rice, mix it with the other rice, and then instead of 5 bags, they've got 20 bags. So it's commercial. So my advice to everybody is that watch what you eat and avoid processed food. We know sausages is very nice, but it's processed food. Processed food, it doesn't digest in your body. It turns into sugar. And also, these genetically modified foods are some of the causes that our bodies, not everybody, will react to that internally. And now our body will now responding to cancer because the cells are contaminated or they are infected, causing a cancerous, either a cell or a tissue inside us, and then leading into cancer. So when, say, Black people or African people, they don't want to go to the doctors, they don't want to, no, it's because of their origin. And all we can do is to continue educate them. Mostly they only go to the doctors if they're not feeling well. But if they're not feeling well, or they just feel unwell a little bit, they take paracetamol or they take the herbs, they get better and they forget about it. So by the time they now go to the GP, they say, oh, you're on grade 3 cancer. Why? Because they didn't pay attention from the beginning. It's not because they did not want to, but it is just because it's who they are. We have to celebrate diversity. At the same time, we also have to be aware of who we are. So we cannot be labeling people that because they're African and they do this, because they're African, they do this. No, we're all the same. There's health equality that everybody has to be treated the same. So what we need here is to give education to everybody that if you see that you're not feeling well, get checked so that you have an idea of where you stand.
Much mercy. We're going to come back to that health inequality, where I know that actually can marginalize the people from African background to access services. And also, we're going to look into the area of the facility back home in Africa, where we find out that a lot of hospital healthcare in Africa are not having proper care. So I'm going to go down to going back to Africa. This is not talking about health support for women in Africa, in the hospital, health support for women that have cancer, health support for women that are facing either mental health, also health support for women with different terminal health issue. Do you think, I know during the summer holiday, you normally go back to Africa to support other hospitals. I know you do that most of the time where you go to different African country. Dr. Messi, I'm just going to applaud you for that because you are one of those Africa in the diaspora that take your holiday and go to a different African country and support the hospital there. Why some of us are going enjoying our holiday, Messi take her time to go to different African country and use her knowledge to help the hospital. So from your experience looking at the health system back in Africa and some of those countries that you have gone, do you think there's enough facility to support the health system in Africa? Do you think the government, I want to look at this, the government in Africa, do you think they've done enough to support, or do you think they even have any agenda for the hospital or for the healthcare system going down also to the rural area? Then foreign investors, because I always like to pin them down. These are people that have already looted from Africa, take the resources and not giving back. What is your take on that?
Sorry, Madam. Sorry, I wanted that to also address something. Why she spoke more about processed food, like the palm oil and others. But I wanted you to talk about the drugs, the orthodox drugs. Those days we could mix our drugs, native leaves and all those things and take. Do we also know the chemicals we're taking into our body and these drugs? And even is it also the same thing? Can we also liken it to the processed food, where food is provided to more persons? So you add some chemicals and all those things. Are these chemicals, are they really, really are they really bad? There's also the positive side. So what's the positive side? What's the negative side? So for example, if we say, okay, we don't want to take the orthodox medicine. Like me, when I treat with the local herbs, it could take me almost forever to get well. And I need to be on my feet. But once I take the orthodox medicine, within 3 days, sometimes within a day, I feel better. But some people will say no. Some experts will say we're taking poison when we take these orthodox medicines. So we also need to look at that. If we are not taking this processed food, these orthodox medicines, what's the alternative? Can the food we produce go wrong? Even the Africans in diaspora, how can they get sufficient amounts at the cheaper rates of most of this unprocessed food or the organic food from Africa? Could some go into farming? Is it possible that they could go into farming in large quantity, producing organic food? Because even right here, we have people who can produce organic food in large quantity if encouraged. We hear of the granite pyramid in those days. They are organic now. They were in Kano, even if we don't have it now. So I wanted that to address that.
Okay, Messi, over to you. Over to you, Messi.
Yeah, that is. Messi. But we have to be very realistic here. When we are foreigners in a foreign land, so for us to have farms to farm our own food, it can be very difficult to own land to do the farming. On top of that, the farming they will do here, they will still put artificial fertilizer to grow all these vegetables, to grow everything, so that overnight they're grown and they're done, they're dusted, and still it's GMO, right? Now, when you are taking herbs from Africa, the African herbs, yes, they take long, but remember, they're chemical free, right? So if you are taking herbs, you need to make sure that you exercise. You also watch your diet, watch what you eat, be clean inside, most people, they don't clean their guts, they don't clean their stomach, which is one problem. that is always there, because you can carry food that you ate 20 years ago in your stomach. Why? Because you don't do colon cleansing. You don't clean your guts. You don't empty it out and clean it up. And we don't even give ourselves time that I'm not going to eat from this time to that time, right? We are not doing that intermittent fasting where the body needs to regulate and needs to rest a little bit. All we do is eat, 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 and we are not giving the body an opportunity to rest. I don't know whether anybody has ever thought of that. You want your cup of tea, you want it, but there is something called discipline, where you just say, after I have my breakfast, I'm only going to drink water up until I have my next meal, right? So it is a time of cleansing. You're cleansing yourself, you're giving your body a rest, because you're already eating. And what is happening? Your stomach is expanding because you are feeding it, and it will never say no. It will keep on expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding and needing more. And now your body is now reduced in being active. So now you are being incapacitated by you're making it yourself. So when it comes to herbs and when it comes to Western medicine, you have to weigh the chances yourself. And unfortunately, there's no right or wrong in everything that we do. And if we don't have an alternative, we just have to rely on what is available. If you cannot grow your own vegetables, so you have to buy them. So when you buy them, that is what it is. But you have an opportunity to actually minimize what you're doing. This is why some other people say, I am going to reduce my portions, or this year I'm not going to eat meat, or in the next month I'm not going to eat meat, I'm not going to eat red meat, I'm only going to eat chicken, or I'm only going to eat fish, and I'm only going to, and they are giving their body a time to rest and recuperate from the abuse that it is getting by eating every time, every day, every minute, whatever we eat. And sometimes the body rejects it, or sometimes the body likes it. So it is just, you have to weigh it yourself to see the medicine that you are taking, before you do. But herbal medicines, they are always good because they've got no chemicals in them. They're just natural herbs from the bush.
We're saying is that because with the herbal medicine you cannot measure, so this is where people don't know the quantity to take. So I think this is something we're looking into. Will the government invest in the herbal medicine? Because these are leaves, these are food, these are natural. Would there be investment as part of the health development in Africa? Are our government going to start investing in our herbal medicine, whereby when people take them, there's a quantity, because you don't want to be overdosed with it?
What happens is that...
Can I take it from here, please?
Yes.
Allow Mercy to finish. Then I want
to support Mercy.
Okay.
Yeah. I practice homeopathy. We all know what it is. Homeopathy is the act of using food to cure some certain diseases, almost all diseases in our body. So that's a saying that goes, you are what you eat. What you take in is what forms who you are. So if we can actually practice that, we will not be sick. If I have a mixture of lemon, ginger, and a bit of hot water in the morning, I will not be sick. And a little of a turmeric in it, you won't see the doctor. But we're growing up, they say an apple a day takes you away from the doctor, which is the right thing. But there's some other things that you can actually have that will take you away. A little bit of diversion. During coronavirus, I was on ginger. And what does ginger do? It deposits zinc in our system. And what does that mean? Zinc actually scares away virus, so you won't get it. Now, fast forward to where Mr. Blade was talking about herbal medicine. I'm not a herbalist, but I take a lot of herbals, and that keeps me running. It takes me away from hospital. The reason why it looks like what we take from the likes of Abu, if I go to the Yoruba saying, it's because they are not quantified, they are not measured. But the herbal medication have metamorphosized into being sized, being quantified to appropriate measure, irrespective of the fluid in it. Some people will have the herbal medication, and you are meant to have maybe 150 or 50 ml of water in it, right? They'll put almost 1 liter in it and keep cooking it. Some things that you cook, they lose the essence. The medication that we take, which is the orthodox medication, they all came from plants, which is the herbal medication, but they're being processed and being chemicalized and being added up a little bit of chalk, like painkillers. Painkillers actually come from pineapple. If you have pineapple, you wouldn't have pain. There's a process which pineapple goes. If you have the mango leaves, boil a little bit and pour in water, headache goes. Every plant has got its own curative. Just like when you open your palm or your feet, every organ in your body has got a puncture point, which you call the acupuncture thing. There's a puncture point in every feet and every palm that have your organs representing in this surface. So when you touch the right part of it, it actually tells you that you're touching your heart, you're touching your lungs, you're touching whatever. That way, you can get cured if you know the right point to touch a pin or needle on it. That's what acupuncture does. So if we have the right quantity of medication to take, you get healed. And that is what the tablets that we're taking. That's why they look like they have very effective measure. If you take a painkiller, it goes straight, but the excessive painkiller can actually affect your liver, can affect your kidney as well. So we need to be cautious of what we take, and that's why we need a doctor to give you a prescription. Too much of antibiotics can cause harm, damage in your system. So I actually support herbal medication, which I've used to cure a lot of things in my own system. Not to talk about many people that come around me and I tell them what to do, what food to eat, and how to get cured. Coming to cancer, cancer is cells that don't have control. The cancer cells don't have control, but once there's something like sugar, it fuels cancer. And these are things that we need to know. These are things we need to take care of. These are things that we need to actually put in check for what we do. I overheard Dr. Mercy talking about the GMOs. This part of the world that we are in, because of the population and because of how things are being done, products are being processed and added a little flares in it to make it bigger than what it is. And it looks like the ground here produces better than Africa. In Africa, everything, or in Nigeria, as a case study, everything is organic. When you eat food within Africa, within Nigeria, it looks like you're eating food from heaven because of the taste, because of the quality, and because of how it's being produced. Right over here, there's some egg that you buy from the shop. They call it range, a free range egg. When you break this egg to fry them, they look like there's a watercolor that makes up the yellow part of it, which is the yolk, and the other aspect of it, which is the egg white, looks like, it's just one kind of water in it. Actually, when you touch it, normally a real egg, when you touch the egg white and you touch it, it looks like it's a bit sticky. But some egg you buy from shops like Tesco, Asda, and the rest of them, especially the egg that is color white, looks like they have been processed and produced by man, not by egg being laid by chicken. So even when you crack them, they don't break out.
Not by kukuruku.
Yeah, they don't break out. So, and I've seen something, online, egg being produced in China. Sorry, I look at China. China produces good and bad and ugly. But I've experienced cutting or cracking an egg, and it didn't break like a normal egg. When you cut egg with a knife, some particles break into it. But this one, you cut it looks like you just chop a plastic and it just break like a nice cut thing. When you touch the products inside it, you get scared. And you don't need to beat it. So you don't need to beat the yolk to mix up with the egg whites. And subconsciously, is this from China or is this the UK? These eggs are here. Actually, I took a picture. I took a video of one to analyze it with a friend of mine. Can we take this to lab to know exactly the content of this? Let's say it's a bit of protein put together and be put in a shell, and there's a machine that cooks it like an egg. So the world is something else I don't know. Just like rice, the plastic rice are being produced, which you can cook and eat them. They are edible, but they're edible plastic. And they still sell them at the cost of price. And
If I come in, looking at the health system in Africa, because going by the UNESCO vision that we want an health system that will be fit for the 20. That is what we want to see. That we have a health system fit for the 21st century. So, do you think part of this supporting the health system in Africa should incorporate the herbal system that we are known? Because if you go back to the olden days, those days of our forefathers, there was no hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But having giving birth to children, there are people that are specialized. There are women that are specialized.
Midwives.
They call them midwife here. But then these women, they are known to support, and they can actually tell you where the baby is without any technology.
No scan.
No scan, nothing. They can tell the position of the child in the tummy. They can feel if the child is breathing, the child is not. They have all their traditional system. So now we are saying we want our hospital to be fit for the 21st century. Don't you think that we are lucky to have these two systems of health? We have the Western health system, which a lot of our young people, a lot of our parents, a lot of our sisters, brothers have become, orthodox doctors and nurses. And we still have our traditional family members who have studied the leaf. I am telling you, from experience, my uncle from my mother's side, he goes into the forest, and he will tell you that when he goes into the forest, each leaf tell him what they cure. This is African ancestral spirituality in health, where there are people with this vast knowledge of our ancestors, where he goes into the village and he said the leaves, the forest, the leaf in the forest tells you what they cure. And that is how he get those leaves and bring them back home and cure people in the village.
What you're saying is correct.
Let me ask my question. Okay. Don't you think, as we are developing the health system in Africa, that our traditional health system should be invested on? What is your take on that?
My take is, first and foremost, we need to identify certain things. And what we need to identify is that the spiritual aspect of what you're delving into cannot be changed. And the only way it can be nurtured is by encouraging the people that have that gift. Africans are gifted. If the people that have the gifts are being nurtured, then that means we'll have a formidable way of treating people without having issues. And it's not everybody who is a herbalist is a negative person. The meaning of herbalist is someone who can cure with herbs, not a witchcraft, not a juju person, not someone who it's been stigmatized Now, if somebody can mix herbs or get one plant or the other put together, we turn the person to be a witch doctor. No. I have lots of people that I know that can tell me what's the plant, just like I know that the mango leaves can cure headache when you boil it. Just one mango leaf, boil it for 5 minutes, drink the water, headache is gone. But I learned it. And there's so many other things I've learned over the period of time. The fresh mango leaves, the tips of mango leaves, when you gather it together, boil it and steam it, it actually reduces sugar level in the body system. Because I say to you guys, I practice homeopathy. So I know a lot of things that can help one. If you eat asparagus, broccoli, and cauliflower, sugar level is dropped automatically. You don't need any insulin. But you need to know the quantity you need to eat at every point in time. The only difference that they don't have any side effects. But they can actually, the side effect that occurs in it is that you might pass out because your sugar level goes below the quantity you need to take in. So the herbs that we take are very good. And the source of the medications, the tablets that we take, all come from herbs. So what we need to invest in is to encourage and nurture the people who can walk into the bush and speak to this plant, and the plant speak to them. And we start to identify them. The moment we identify them, label them, we know the quantity one can take for a particular kind of thing. Take, for instance, garlic. 2 cloves of garlic is fantastic. It's antibiotics. A bunch of what's called a bulb of onions, red onions, can actually take away fever from your body system. It's a simple thing that we can practice in your house. Cut onions into 2, leave it in your kitchen. Overnight, you wake up in the morning, you see black things all in the face. They're all bacteria, because red onions can attract bacteria. Red onions is also very good to cure scalp infection. If your scalp is dry and cracking, you get red onions, mix of garlic, blend it, and get the juice out of the water, sprinkle your hair. Your hair grows well. And your scalp will be redeemed like a baby scalp. There are a lot of things that we have that we don't even talk about that can help one move from stage 1 to stage 2 without touching any chemicalized products. So if we invest in that, you might not see people. But the big pharma will not let you do that. We all know about the big pharma. They want to sell their medication. There's people that makes medication and all these medicines that we take, the tablets, the injections that we take, it's only there. It does not cure, but it keeps you afloat. You find out that some people who are sick, take for instance diabetes, it only encourages them to keep living. After 15 years of using that kind of medication, it stops having effects. But with faith, they keep taking the medication. It doesn't cure them, but it keeps them rolling over. 15 years down the line, oh, he passed out. He was having diabetes. I'm a living testimony about prostate cancer. And I healed with herbs. I did not cut. They want to operate me. I ran away because I know what it's going to be like. I know the outcome of it because I've seen people who went through such surgery, and at the end of the day, they cannot perform as a man anymore. I don't want to be in that state. I've got lots of life in me to live. I still look forward to living up to 120 years. So I know that the herbs I take actually will help me and will make me feel good. So the veggies that we eat, it's actually the main medication. So I will empower, or I will say that the World Health Organization, United Nations, should encourage the organic food to be afloat in the market than all the canned foods, all the fizzy drinks that we take. There are a lot of drinks you can make, like the Zobo drink is fantastic. It's made out of hibiscus. And when you drink it, you feel refreshed when the right things are being put in place. So I am a supporter of organic food and a supporter of making herbs available out there for people to use for curing themselves. What we need to do, that we need to get outside. The Chinese medicine is nothing than herbs. coupled with the acupuncture they practice. If you add acupuncture to how old does a Chinese man live? What's their life expectation? Their life expectancy is way, way more than what we get in Africa. Back in the days, we don't talk about cancer. We don't talk about some, some sicknesses. There's some weary sicknesses that we see today that are like, where did this come from? We're not used to it. But when we started eating pulverized food, I call them pulverized. When we start eating those foods, we start eating chicken that are being pumped to look bigger than what chicken is supposed to be. Like you put the bones of those chicken in your mouth, it melts. Those are not real chicken. When you eat the local chicken, that chicken that's with red and black or different multicolors, when you kill the chicken and eat the bone, you'll be struggling with your teeth because it is strong and the meat tastes quite different. So what we eat, like I say, what we eat is what we are and who we are.
So, like coming back to investing in the health system back home. Yes, we're in the 21st century. We need a medical center. We need a hospital that is equipped. We need the government to also contribute to this. We need foreign investors, big companies, stakeholders to contribute. So in the aspect of Africa, we talk about that it is important that part of the development of the health system should also include, because that's what I've heard from everyone speaking today, should also include our herbal treatment, our herbal medicine. They should be invested on. They should be supported. They should be supported. A school should be open. A herbal school should be open where, as people go to doctor school, they should also go to the herbal school to learn how to put medication and use the herbal treatment for people. They now come to the facility, the hospital facility. What should be done to make sure that we have good hospitals and good equipment in those hospitals?
To start with, what you said now, I am a full support of that. The government should look into setting up a research center. The only research center on food is the IITA in Ibadan. I don't think we've done beyond that in Africa.
What about other African countries? Do we have?
I don't know much about other African countries, but I know that Egypt have done a whole lot of things. Israel invests in food research, plant research, what they do, how they do, that you can actually get an Irish potato and you can grow the Irish potato and the sweet potato together, hybrid, crossbreeding, all the stuff. Today, we have one of the best cassava in the world. We have the MTK 16, which is different. We have the AKT cassava. We have the cassava that's got the blue skin, which can actually, they leaf. You can actually use that to make a blend that can actually cure cancer. I've not really read much into it, but I've heard that from people who are doing research in products and food that can actually help a cancer patient to be stable and live a normal life. So cassava have got a lot of things to do. Majority of the bakery, they're all using cassava flour. The noodles.
We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, but a little bit. I think there was a call coming in, so we can't hear.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but not too loud.
Whoa, okay. Can you hear me now?
No, so while you're sorting that out, I'm gonna call in Ogaga. Ogaga, while you sort out your volume, I'm gonna call in Ogaga to speak.
Okay.
Hello, Ogaga. Thanks. So I think you've had everyone deliberate. I know you might have been taking notes down from a lot of conversation being said. I know you talk more about the mental
I wanted
health.
to say first, but yeah.
I know you talk more about. I know you talk more about mental health.
Yeah.
And I've seen over the years, people with strong mental health issue, some of them, they take them to our traditional doctor. Some of them, we don't have the hospital facility for mental health. I would say Africa, very poor in mental health facility. Some people used to take them to the herbal doctor to see if they can cure them. So this is a very strong issue. And again, you have the stigma attached to it. Then I don't know, now we see a lot of high cases mental health in young people back home. Before, you used to see that there are mostly elderly people that have it. Now we see young people actually developing mental health. This the same thing we are having here also in Europe. So can you put light on that?
Okay, before I go into that, I want to correct the fact that the food research center in Ibadan is not the only one we have in Nigeria. There are so many, should be up to about 10 or so spread across the country. And there's been improvement in food processing and availability of food, if not for some, like we have the issues of the herdsmen. So people don't no longer go to the farms, and more needs to be done. We know the problem of leadership, having poor leadership, not paying attention to what should be paid attention to. Food is very important. The little we're having, the improvements we had in agricultural advancement in Nigeria, was eroded with the everyday attacks on farmers, and the government not doing anything to secure this. That's one side of it. As we have food research centers across the country that were doing well. But we also have issues of them bringing in Western ideas on, is it biotechnology, genetic foods, and others. So that one is one on that side. Now, let me come to the mental health issues. Like I said, we have institutions that deal with mental health. We have state and federal psychiatric hospitals across the country, but because of stigmatization, people don't go, because when people see you walk into a mental health institution, they say you are mad. Maybe you come out in politics one day in the public, someone say, you that used to go to psychiatric hospital, you that have a card. But probably what somebody was going was to go and see a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist for depression. Some people go, I remember my mom going to a psychiatric hospital once. It was tough for her, but she had no choice. She was having this headache that almost killed her. So she keeps going to the regular hospitals. The drugs weren't working. So at the point, a particular doctor looked at her and said, look, you have to go to psychiatric because this is beyond our scope. That is where you can get your help. And she went, stated headache that is not going away for months, almost killing her. They gave her just a tablet. She took, how many decades after, she hasn't had that kind of headache again. But it was tough for her entering and coming out. And the fear was, what if someone saw her? And once people start spreading these talks, it never ends, and people will never get to know the truth. And people will never even want to know the truth. They like that sour story. It intoxicates people. It excites people. So once a bad story has spread, people don't want the truth. They want the bad story to remain. That's what keeps some people living and moving. Some people even add weight on that. Then another thing, like I said, on the mental health issues is affordability. Even if people want to go, do they have the money? So why are there no subsidies? And it's because the country or African leaders haven't even paid attention to people feeding, haven't even paid attention to other healthcare issues. Is it mental health that they will take care of? No. As if money is supposed to be pumped into that sector by African leaders. They ought to even realize that the issues we're having in Africa every day is sufficient to make a greater number of the population to have mental health issues. Some countries in Africa, even Nigeria, stigmatize and criminalizes suicide. Someone attempts suicide and survives it or is rescued, he's charged to court for attempting suicide and is put in jail for, I think, up to 2 years, depending on the African country. So if someone attempts suicide and is criminalized, he becomes an ex-convict for surviving suicide. Do you think anybody will want to survive suicide that wants to attempt?
That is double wahala for the body now.
Yeah.
That be double wahala for the body.
I swear. So that's the wahala. So many things are happening and people are not paying attention. You know, children cannot talk to their parents because their parents are so busy trying to make ends meet for the family. Or a son can't sit the father down and talk to the father what is going on in his life. And so where the situation where children can only talk to their friends in school. And some of these issues are so embarrassing that they can't tell their friends. And so what they do, what happens? It leads to chronic depression. And before you know what's happening, the suicide thoughts coming. Then you have some persons that are not even diagnosed. People just, like I say, we see people, I don't know the idea people just have. Like we'll have someone a few days ago almost killed his son. Beats up his son. The baby mama came to drop the son. And the baby daddy beat up the son, 7-year-old boy. And according to the mother, he had a sling or something on his appendix. He even weed on his body. And she brought it to the media and it became a social media issue. And this man was on a live. And what was he saying? That the son, they brought the son to come and possess him. That the son has been possessed. That the boy was talking and it was the voice of a man, not the voice of a child. And that they sent him. So he now used the beds and had assaulted this 7-year-old boy. And that the boy began to confess that yes, he has been possessed. He's a man, he's inside that inside body. Now this man is talking. Social media became a judgment panel. And everybody said, he's on drugs, he's on drugs. From the whole thing the man was saying, it was clear this man is having a mental health issue. It was clear there could be schizophrenia or whatever. Something was happening. It was not a matter of public. The family were supposed to immediately get this man help, whether he likes it or not, whether he's forced. But you need to see comments, he's a very wicked man, he's a bad man, he should be arrested. Normally, now maybe the police would arrest him. How would that one be talking in court? He's not himself. So probably there have been signs, just because maybe he has money, he's an influencer, but there could have been signs. But nobody looks at it. People just laugh over it. You know? In fact, people even attack these persons more. Now, had someone who had, I think it should be schizophrenia, these big names, or paranoia. An old friend, I visited her. Now, when I visited, she had had an accident before, a very serious accident in which everybody in the vehicle died. She was the only survivor. And you can imagine an only survivor could almost be a vegetable. It was a miracle she survived. She was not walking with an aid, had her tongue cut into two, healing. Depression has entered. Mental issues have come in. But the children recognized that this was a mental health issue. I had visited And when I visited her, she was telling me the story, how the children want to kill her. And some of the children there were just insulting her. You know, and I was listening. She was telling me the story. And recanting makes them feel, tell me she's normal. But somebody is telling you they want to kill her. She heard the children discussing. And now one of the child that told me she went to Lagos to visit her brother and ran away from there, that they want to kill her. They had told me this when I came. Now, the woman also recanted the story. I heard the brother and the wife discussing they want to kill her. Now, the children want to kill her. They want to take the property. Was this person normal? Or is this person normal? You should know that it's a serious mental health issue that you don't need to take to a regular doctor. You need to take this person. You need to convince this person to see a psychiatrist, to have a conversation, and to be on drugs. But rather, they were attacking her and asking her, said, bad mother, you hate everybody. Everybody wants to kill you. And they were abusing, and you're compounding the issue. So we have issue of enlightenment, education. If, for example, you as a mother, you know, have this, let me use this example of a cow that was brought up by a dog. The mother died in the farm, and so the owner, I think a German or so, I read this is online, now gave the dog who secures the farm, took care of this cattle, taught this cattle how to walk, moved around, fed the cattle. Now, do you know this cattle grew up and had her own, is it litters or what they call them? Do you know this cattle was just watching, did not know what they were, could not breastfeed, could not take care of them, because she was brought up by a dog. She doesn't understand. This dog had to not take care of her litter, or what you call them. So what am I saying? If we are calves. Now, if we are not educated, if our parents are not enlightened, the community is not enlightened on mental health issues, the cycle goes round. And that's why most of our parents, the way they bring us up here, now slap, any small thing, slap, flog, punishment. You come late to school, flog. You know, now when you become a parent, it becomes difficult for you to understand how to bring up a child, except you've passed through another education where you have maybe lived with another family, you have lived in another society. So that's the problem. It's a big problem, and it's going on and on. And so we have majority of young people who are depressed. Okay, imagine the last year or 2 years back, there was this case of students in tertiary institutions committing suicide, jumping from the roof. And what was the issue? They had failed, and so were asked to leave the school. And after spending so many years, they said that your time is up, you can't pass. Now, it was going around in different campuses and several communities, some at home. Now, what did the government do? Did they sit down to take it as a serious issue? To say, what is happening? Set up a committee, what's happening in our campuses? Why are they committing suicide? Can we prevent future suicide? What caused it? Can we improve on the system? Why are students failing? How can we improve on the school system? Can we give people a second chance? Can, like we spoke about education, can we improve that? Have vocational institutions, to reduce. They didn't. Nobody said anything. Nobody cared. Now we might not hear much of it, but the pain is much. And we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder with the economic situation now. So mental health issues is not taken serious by our government, but you even find out that even most of these government officials are also having mental health issues. And they need diagnosis, they need help. But they're not getting help. Because if you see the kind of press, there's pressure in the office. Especially if you're not qualified for a particular position, if you're not trained for this kind of offices. Being a local government chairman is different from being a governor, a mayor, or a governor of a state. It's different from being a president of a country. And being a president of 14 million people is different from being a president of 200 million people. It's different from somebody who handling 6 billion or 5 billion citizens. And so if mental health is not taken serious, it also affects them, and it also goes back to the job.
Affect the decision they make.
Finally, before I forget, like in our educational institution, why are they not taking the issue of guidance and counseling serious? You have guidance and counselors in the universities just receiving salaries, and they have a department. You have one office or two offices in a campus that have over 5,000 students, and you have just one or two guardian counselor. How does it help? Now, why is that guardian counselor? Why every faculty department not having these people? You have people who are supposed to be course advisors. They are supposed to perhaps maybe be lectured by these guardian counselors to sit for them. Are they doing their work? No. A lecturer as a course advisor is supposed to receive, even if it's a seminar on guidance and counseling, because you're closest to this, is like a small unit. You're closest to these students. So they are supposed to come to you as their course advisor. I'm having this issue and it's affecting but they don't care. What they feel their job is just to collect results, bring out timetable and submit.
Thank you, Gaga. Thank you for that.
We're sitting in a keg of gunpowder. And this mental health issues not being attended to has consequences, because so many persons, apart from them committing suicide, you have some persons who end the lives of others. They don't do it with their normal thing. Some persons commit crimes in the society. Some don't know why they're doing it. When you see where the police display them and they are talking, you will notice something if you have an understanding about mental health issues. You will know these persons are not normal, yet the police displays them and still disgrace them in public. But you're asking questions and you're saying that this person is not coherent, and you say the person is pretending. See drivers driving accidents everywhere. You see a driver that is arrested for committing a traffic offense, and he strips naked and pulls there. Is it normal? Tells you something is wrong with the society when it has to do with mental health. But we're very far from paying attention to that.
Thank you. I just want to give you 1 minute. I'm going to go after you. I'm going to go to Nadine. Just 1 minute. I know we talk about our herbal treatment.
Sorry, if you
Jill, you need to wait. You need, because I need to round this up. I know we talk about our herbal treatment.
No, I'm talking about the
Hold on, I'm talking to Ogaga. Let me finish with Ogaga. I'm going to come back to you. Okay. I know we're talking about the herbal treatment, Ogaga. Yeah. And then I'm going to bring the religious aspect, where the faith group. So do you think, if we are saying that we should invest in our health system and the herbal system also should be invested on, do our herbal system, does it cure mental health, or is just there as a well-being support? And also, And also, what does the religious system, that is the church, the mosque, the whatever we have that we believe in, does it support, does it identify mental health and support it, or refer it, or it add additional problem, or it make the mental health worse? Just 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Okay, mental health, when you talk about traditional medicines, there's been improvement in it. The tradomedical institution in Nigeria, I think they have regulation now from NAFDAC, but we now have one problem. They are very expensive, most expensive. And so people are not patronizing those high ones again now. They are now turning them to tablets, capsules, following the NAFDAC standard and regulation. So now, something that used to be for the poor is now for the rich. Believe me. And the drugs work. It works for some people that have proper diagnosis. So that's one. Now, whether religious institutions help in mental health, no. Someone has, in a certain religion, someone has schizophrenia and committed fornication. And they came to see that this guy is having a mental health issues. But they look at it that he has committed fornication, and the Bible says that those who commit fornication will be excommunicated or disciplined. They discipline this person. Excommunicated this person, and nobody talks to the person in the church group until after 1 year. Are they happy? No. For others, they will say it's a spiritual problem, as witches. I'm not ruling out the spiritual. See, life is spiritual. Life is spiritual. I'm not ruling out people using voodoo and diabolic means to make people become mental. I'm not ruling that out. So that's one. So religion helps, it does not help. Sometimes it depends on the person's belief. If the person believes in praying, singing, reading psalms, listening to encouraging messages, fine. But if the person believes in going to seek counsel from the religious leaders, it becomes a problem one-on-one, because they begin to tell these persons, someone is doing you, without providing solution. Even the traditional healers, the native doctors or the witch doctors, would always see that someone is after you, or someone is doing this to you. Someone is behind this. But do they help? Can they even tell you this is the person? No. They only tell you do some cleansing and goes over years. I've had a landlady who had serious mental health issues, came from abroad. The episodes come. What do? Take her to traditional healers, take her to the river, did everything. They came back. Did they heal her? No. But she was in her senses. She was complaining. She was talking to me because, I don't know. I have one gift, believe me. I relate with people with mental disabilities. I'm not a therapist, psychologist. I'm not a doctor. But I think I have that gift. And maybe because I don't have a mental disability, but I'm someone who suffers from mental health issues. I know what I've gone through with chronic depression. And, so when I see people, I can easily identify with them. When I also see people who some would say are mad, I know how to talk to them. And we relate. And I understand them. And people like, I see that every mad people in the area, you're conversing with them. And I show them respect.
Yeah, empathy.
Empathy and respect.
You sympathize with them.
Like this woman now knows that she says she doesn't want to go for that so-called spiritual cleansing. She would prefer to even go to her church. But they said, no, this one is spiritual. At the end of the day, she was complaining. They have spent all her money, and she told them. But they were still saying she was mad. But all the things she was telling them in that mad, so-called mad state, She heard, she knew. When she became normal, she was crying and she was saying everything they said. So religious leaders can only help if they have that experience, if they have that understanding. There's a difference between having a spiritual understanding and having the understanding of nature and human behavior. They're two different things. It's
Thank
not
you
like
very much, Ogaga.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna bring in Nadine. Nadine, over to you. I know you can see your hand raised up. Over to you if you want to on your camera, and you're gonna talk from the. I know you spend most of your time going back home, going to back to the a lot of the Francophonie country. And we talk more. We look at mental health. We look at cancer. We look at the health issue. We look at the system we have back home. What should we do to actually improve the system back home? A lot of the speaker here has actually supported both orthodox and our traditional way of that if we're going to improve the system in Africa, we should invest on both so that we can have an holistic approach to the health issue in Africa. So I'm gonna go over to you. I know you've been listening, and I want you to give your summit.
Thank you. I really just really thank you, Lucy. Thank you for inviting me. Hello to everyone. Hello to the viewers. I hope you're really enjoying this. I really hope that somebody is really enjoying it. I started watching when the gentleman was talking about the beauty and the power of our African medicine. But Lucy, I want to quickly talk about the little things that I took the notes about. Okay, I often say that as simple as we can see the gari is a science. Okay, gari is a science, and there is a way to make a gari. If you go to Nigeria, if you go to Nigerian village, they roast gari in a certain way. If you go to Benin, they do it in a certain way. If you go to Togo, they do it in a certain way. Cote d'Ivoire will do ateke in a different way. Africa has its techniques. Africa has its way of delivering food. What do I understand? When I entered the network marketing business, selling fruit and vegetables, dry, dehydrated fruit and vegetables, I went back to Africa to promote dehydrated product. But African were already doing dehydrated product a long time ago. That's why I am taking the example of gari. Now, the gentleman was talking about onions, garlic, blah, blah, blah. I want to tell somebody tonight, whether you're watching me from Africa or wherever you are, mental health is a real issue. I am a learning mentor in a college working with children born with multiple disabilities, from autism, so PMLD is everything, multiple, those who have autism, ADHD, you name them. And those who are physically also disabled. I work with all these people. We are talking about the dysfunctionality of the brain. This is not a joke. There is no pastor, there is not a prayer that will heal mental health. Let's stop the nonsense. I'm sorry, it is my opinion. Let's stop the nonsense. There is not a prayer that would heal a dysfunctional brain. When you work in that environment, you understand that an illness can be corrected. You can drink, you can eat, you can alleviate the symptoms of something. That's why they tell not to give sweets to children with autism. Why? Because they are already hyper. Okay, if you give them sweet, they would be more hyper. The food, the herbs, all over whatever that you take will alleviate. Because when your brain was forming, it didn't form properly. So because it did not form properly, you cannot just suddenly like that fix it. My son is born with a congenital disorder of the bile called Hirschsprung disease. He has gone to theater more than 26 times, and he will live with one bowel for the rest of his life. Let me tell you what the greatest, the biggest pathologist in the UK told me. He said, for you and I to go to the toilet, our cells in our intestine must form a diagram. I often talk to people, I tell them about the three brains, the cognitive, the heart, and the belly. These are the three brains. They need to talk together. They function. They are aligned like this. Okay? A child with Hirschsprung disease, his bowel does not talk to his brain because the cells, the nerves are dysfunctional. They are not working. That's why you're going to see children with Down syndrome. You're going to see children with, cerebral palsy, with serious constipation, because these things, these nerves are linked. So when your cells are dysfunctional, you're not going to drink something to fix the cells. No. Your cells are dysfunctional. They are malformed from the beginning. It can't work. So we need to stop thinking that somebody will go to church, there is a pastor that will lay hands on you and your cells will be fixed again. Let's stop that nonsense. I own that. I know what I'm talking about. Now, if the association of medicines or doctors or whatever are doing things in Africa at the moment to give us medication. Why is it expensive? It's expensive because Africa do not produce packaging, okay? And the laboratory, all these things, we don't have those facilities. So people who are able to have factories and are able to do things in a certain way is extra expensive for them to be able to deliver it in Africa. Why? Because we don't have the facilities. We don't make nothing. Simple plastic bottles. These plastic bottles, we don't make them in Africa. Everything is imported. So although traditional medicine was supposed to be cheap, it's not cheap. Why? Because, to make it, all these things become too expensive because we don't have what we need. I did my diligence to be able to write few things. And something I want also to talk about, the gentleman mentioned few things about somebody committing sin, is in church, and they associate, or he was trying to associate the fact that he has committed sin because he has a mental health. Please, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. If you want to commit sin, you know what you're doing. You don't need to have mental health to commit sin. Okay? I don't think that mental health will push you to do it more or to do it less, but any human being, is a human being. I'm telling you, my children, my students, they show sexual attraction. You don't need to be sick. You don't need to be whatever no. Sex is sex. Any human being with a functional brain, with a functional body, will be attracted to sex. So let's not say that, somebody, will be, misbehaving because he has mental health. No. Even people who are praying every day. That's why the Bible says that it is not the action that you commit, it's the thinking. Jesus, when he came to correct that, he says that, no, you don't even need to sleep with somebody. You just need to have the idea. You just need to think, for that to be considered already as sin. I really don't know if I've answered everything, but one thing about Africa, I want us to also understand, we are very rich. If the herbs, if the traditional doctors were not helping, we would have been dying more. I want somebody to know that the mango's leaves, tonight I'm going to drink some mango leaves. They're going to help me to sleep. If you have insomnia, you can drink mango leaf, you can drink guava leaf, you can drink soursop leaf. There is this talk about, we need to be careful when we talk about healing, okay? You cannot say that if you drink cassava leaves is going to heal you from cancer. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. They alleviate the symptoms. They will help you. Look, when mango leaves, guava leaves, all these leaves help you sleep. In your sleep, you heal. In your sleep, you're resting. That's why you see cough medicine. When you have the flu, you will drink this medicine and they make you sleep, because in your sleep, you're healing. Yes, please, we need to be careful. I used to be very high in this business, in this network marketing business. And one of the things these people say, it was, don't say it heals, because oh my God, my English now. Complement alimentaire, something that is a vitamin is not there to help you. Is there to boost your immune system. Is there to reduce the effect of is there to act as an antioxidant, okay? Because in our body we have little, I don't even, my thinking is going all over the place now. So we have oh my God, I don't know how these things are called, but in our body is aging. That's why we need to eat red fruit, we need to eat berries, we need to eat kiwis, we need to eat a lot of vitamin C to boost our organs. Why are we having inflammation in our body? It's because our organs are tired. It's because we are eating too much gari, too much fufu. If you take gari is already dry. When you put a little bit of water in it, you form it as eba. Eba is very, very heavy. Now you go and eat it maybe with okra or something like that. Fantastic. But you need to drink a lot of water. And that okra as well has to really be fresh, to counteract on the otherwise your body will be working too much. And that's why our organs are tired and we are creating inflammation in our body. So when we eat well, when we put a lot of vitamin C in our body, that will boost our organ. That will give our organ the power to work. It's just like the car. If you don't service your car every year, what do you think? The car will not, some part of the car will not work. So please, let's look after ourselves. Let's continue to consider that we are rich in Africa. The only problem we have in Africa is that we cannot give a dosage. If somebody said to you now, okay, drink guava leaves, you will still ask them how many. But if you take a European tablet, you will know exactly that this is 5 milli, this is 10 milli, this is 20 milli. So our where we are, oh my God, English sometimes, goodness me.
No,
Our
we're talking
limitation.
about our health system should develop in the area of making sure that we support those of our traditional rulers in terms of when they are doing the research, they know the quantity, because the body size again is different. You understand? That's something I understand. Again, the body size is different. So if you are taking medication, you need to look. Some children, they are 5 years, but their body size is like a child of 10 years. So if you look at the prescription at the back of the medicine, it says 0 to 5, and they look at the weight. So some children, if they are bigger, the medication you give them will not work. And in Africa, we have majority of people, we have our genetic, generally we are big in nature. So the medication need to the herbal medicine need to be measured so that it works properly and it does what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
So
Lucy, thank you very much for.
Hold on,
I'm going to go. I just want to
No, Nadine, you don't need to go. Nadine, I need to correct some things because you drop an impression that's not right.
Hold on, Gis.
Sorry, Nadine, you don't need to go. Please.
I just want to finish. And I want to tell the truth. We need to be careful and tell the truth. Let's not mislead people. Our medicine works, but we don't have the science of dosage. Please, brother, we don't have that science.
Dosage is not science. Nadine, calm down. You need to put things together.
Hold on.
Lucy, let him tell me.
No. I'm looking at the time. So Nadine, before you go, can you wrap us a little bit on to speak to your French community about something that you just actually raised now, so that everyone will be on their side of
Thank you
understanding.
so much. Thank you. I will do that. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Si vous nous regardez encore ce soir, nous sommes encore là pour le mois de l'Afrique qui a lieu exactement le 25 mai. Ce soir, nous parlons des maladies mentales en Afrique, nous parlons de notre médecine en Afrique, nous parlons de nos médicaments, nous parlons de nos limitations que nous avons. Est-ce que les médicaments africains soignent vraiment? Est-ce que nous pouvons vraiment compter sur nos dirigeants par rapport à soigner les hommes et les femmes qui ont les maladies mentales? La maladie mentale, elle est vraie. On ne peut pas dire que quelqu'un va aller à l'église et que le pasteur va lui imposer les mains et qu'il va guérir. Ce n'est pas vrai. Ce n'est pas vrai. Si tu es malade, si tu as mal à la tête, si tu as une dépression, il faut aller à l'hôpital. Il ne faut pas aller à l'église parce que l'église ne soigne pas la dépression. Church does not heal depression. I will say that in French, in English. L'église ne soigne pas la dépression. L'église ne soigne pas la dépression. Si tu es malade, tu vas à l'hôpital. Voilà.
Thank you. I'm going to bring back Jason. This is your time. 2 minutes for your summit and round up, because we are over our time. 2 minutes for your summit and round up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. You're mute. You're muted. No one is hearing you. You're muted. 2 minutes.
Can you hear me now?
2 minutes. Yeah, we can
you
hear
hear
you
me now? Yeah. I'm very, very sorry about what's going on, because listening to Nadine, there's a lot of impressions she have created, which is wrong, absolutely wrong. Okay? If you are listening to a program, have an open mind, open view. All these are things that lead to depression. And if we don't have a good orientation of what someone is talking about, you never catch up with it. I never heard Ogaga say that they go to prayer to heal. He said that people misunderstood people with mental health to be a cause of a spiritual issue. That's why I was trying to tell her to stop at that point. Nobody said so. And nobody said that you have to eat all this to cure. The body has a mechanism of curing itself when you eat the right thing. And I said, what you eat is who you are. So she should understand it. And she should open her mind to listen to people with an open mind, not having a formation of mind or thought and coming to drop it like somebody says something wrong. There are people watching, people listening to you, but you don't conclusively decide on what you think as your own thinking faculty that this is what people are trying to say. No, I'm not going to say that with spirituality. Well, it happens to some people. You can get healed depending on kind of mental health you have. In Africa, in Nigeria, said to say, that's my case study. There are people who get mental health by somebody causing it like a voodoo kind of thing. That spiritually can be cured. But not people born with a mental issues, people born with multiple kind of mental health. That is a different thing. When you're born with it, you're born with it. These days, babies are born.
You're mute. You're mute again.
No, I didn't mute. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. So to quantify what everybody was saying here, I understood Ogaga was saying that people misunderstood somebody who is ill to have committed fornication and claim that it is based on mental health. Mad people sleep with people. Some men who are into voodoo sleep with mad women and get them pregnant. Does it mean that the men that are sleeping with them are mad as well? In some cases, there's a kind of level of mental health in their head for them to
do that.
Go to level, to stoop low, to sleep with a mad woman that is dirty, stinking. Do you understand? That's another level of madness. So it takes a madman to live with a madman. It takes a madman to identify a madman. So those people are mad. Honestly, we need orientation.
Okay.
We need orientation. And if we get the right orientation, we'll get things right.
Thank you very much.
My brother Ogaga, I said that IITTA in the battle. That is not the only place. I know a lot have grown up. Before I left, that is the place I know. And some research I did 5 years ago, I still communicated with them. There might be other research institutes that are there, but the one I know that I can always associate myself with, because I know a couple of people who are working there who have helped me to do a couple of things in the past.
Wait, sorry, I didn't know about
thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Wait, me and Jules will get matter to settle. So that guy is a madman because he can identify mad people.
Not in that formation.
Identify mad people.
My God!
I work in mental health. Ogega, no.
You hear from my lawyer.
No. Ogega, that is not what I meant. Ogega, wait. I work in mental health department.
My goodness me.
I work with mental health people.
Today is on fire.
Ogega,
you hear from my lawyers.
No, Ogega, I communicate with people. I work in mental health as well as a mental health carer. And I found out that no. I'm sorry about that. So you misunderstood what I'm saying here. Because I found out that some people with mental health, you play music and they become all right. Another thing I want to talk about here for Nadine.
Everyone. Thank you very much.
Lucy, one more point, please. I'm talking about inflammation. Nadine said inflammation is by Gary.
Don't mind me. If you follow me, that is right. No evidence.
I don't explain tire. I'm talking about inflammation.
I never said Gary gave inflammation. No.
You said that we eat fufu because fufu is heavy. Gary is heavy. It gives inflammation. No, inflammation is caused by pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungi.
There's a demonstration of craze happening here.
No, nobody's crazy here. Nobody's crazy here. But I want you to understand that there are external injuries like scrape, damage from the foreign object that can cause inflammation. Different things can cause inflammation, not the food we eat.
For Nigeria, they go tell you say you go explain tired, no evidence.
Thank you all. It has been an amazing. Keep the next conversation for June, because everything we've been deliberating, there is a phase 2 that is going to happen in June. So I've been taking note and I'm bringing the panel back again. And I believe all our viewers on Twitter and our viewers on YouTube and our viewers on Facebook, thank you all sending your questions. We have, you see, they said for lack of knowledge, our people perish. We need to share those information. We need to share our personal view, our personal experience. That need to come out. The 8th issue need to be discussed more. Because if we don't have this conversation, then we are all lost. We are lost in the system. So I want to thank all my panel from Ogaga, aka Bled in the house, and also my Wakanda Mama Nadine for actually coming here. And I also want to give my bossa to my brother Julian, our Nollywood director in Greenwich. I give you bossa. And Dr. Mercy, I know she's busy. She has gone to attend to her patient that has actually come to support her. It has been an amazing discussion, and I think everybody has laid a valid point. We agree to disagree, or we disagree to agree. You understand? Everybody has shared a valid point. And my take today is that the herbal traditional medicine should be supported back home. You understand? As part of our revamping the health system in Africa, the government should invest in our herbal medicine. Also not just the herbal medicine, but also invest in agriculture, because it's from agriculture the herbal medicine come in. All these things we're talking about, eating well, drinking well, eating organic. If there's no investment in agriculture, we can't do anything. And coming back to Europe, over the years, they've raised the instances for it's racially, the institutional racially profiling of the land where there's lack of black farmers in Europe. I'm telling you, People from the African descendants want to farm, but we don't have access to the land. We have those skills to farm. We have those. This is part of this African month is to also campaign for we to have access to land in Europe. A lot of Europeans has gone to Africa to buy acres and acres and acres of land, and they are farming there. So why is the system here not allowing Africans in the diaspora to also have the same access to land to farm, so that our foods can be grown, our herbs can be grown, and so that it will help with the production of more organic food? You cannot know it all. The Western world cannot know it all. There is more that Africa can input in the agriculture system in Europe. So that is another debate for another time. That part of the UN decade for Africa as part of reparation of the transatlantic slaves, he said Africa should be supported to live in the Western world fit, so that they can actually, the life that they have been taken away as part of reparation, taken away from Africa, they can actually replicate that life here. And farming is one of it, because Africa live by farming. Farming is a key thing to farming. Help with mental health, gardening. This mental health we're talking about. If you start going to farm, you can be talking to your plant. I talk to my plant too. Those of my children will tell you, all my vegetables that I plant. I say, what's the matter? Why are you not growing well this year? I communicate with my plants. So farming, health they're also part of well-being. So guys, thank you all for joining us for this great conversation, and we'll bring back this session again. One of our key points is that religious should they say, if you are a doctor, face your doctor and doctor well. There are roles that religious play, but they should not meddle, and that is where the point coming for Gaga. You are specialized in spirituality, face your spirituality. Don't meddle with people's health trying to say you are doing religious. You understand? Don't meddle with it, because this is where people start developing mental health, where that you need to assign them, signpost them to doctors, to hospital, to orthodox medicine or to herbal medicine. You tell them they should be praying. When people pray and not sleep, they will go colo. When you wake up in the midnight, you are praying. The time your brain is supposed to be sleeping, you are praying. That can lead to mental health. You're not sleeping. Yeah? So we should learn to balance things in our life. Nadine raised the aspect of mental health with children with disability. This is something that we don't talk much back home in Africa. There's no investment on that area. Children with autism, there's a lot of children back home with dyslexia. They go to school, they cannot spell, they cannot write, they are caning them. The school will call them Olodo, they will abuse them. This child has dyslexia. I'm dyslexia. I'm dyslexic. Writing is not my thing. But when it comes to skill work, you see all my design, I can design from now till tomorrow. Everybody have what they are gifted on. People fail. In the Western world, when you fail, they promote you. There's nothing like say you fail, you remain you go back to primary one. Whether you pass or you not pass, you are moving to the next level. You will catch up. Why are they not introducing that in Africa? Because that can actually lead to people, when you shame people, that can lead to mental health. So a disability in our young children should be considered. Some of our adults also have disability that is not even, this autism, HDAD, dyslexia. They have all this dyspraxia that is not diagnosed. We do not have the capacity to diagnose all these learning needs. And as you get older, this can also progress to mental health. Learning need that is not diagnosed can lead to mental health, strong mental health. So all these things, we need to look into it and see how we can improve the health system. My brother, Use talk more, Jason. Talk more on the use of herbal treatment. You've testified it, you've used it, you know it worked for you. They say different medication, different stroke for different pain. People use it. No, you know your body. Keep record of what you are taking and how it impacts on your body. Go and work on it. Our professor Mercy in the house has analyzed the body system. And one of the things that I am taking home today, everybody has something they take home. One of the things I'm taking home today that I need to give my stomach time to rest. You can see that when I was even talking here, I was chewing peanuts. I was throwing, I was still chewing. We need to give our intestine, our stomach time to rest. We need to learn to detox. She says there's some of us, the food that we have eaten for so many years is still in our stomach. We have not detoxed it. So lesson you should take home today, that learn sometimes to fast, to give your stomach time to digest. Some of us have digesting problems where at the food we eat. And if you eat too much of processed food, what happens? They don't digest properly. So there's a lot that has been said today. And we hope that our government, those foreign investors, I'm always hammering on foreign investors because foreign policy play a big role in the development of Africa. Foreign investors should not just go and build their company. While you are building your company, you should remember to build school. You should remember to build health center. We are not asking you to go and build one gigantic hospital, but come on, build a health center with various facilities that can help people to access doctor. Support our nursing system. All our nurses and doctors that you have collecting, as they are coming here to help your system here, learn to put money back home to train more doctors and nurses back in Africa. So thank you all for watching. We've gone against our time, but you know it's a very difficult topic, and we just have to deliberate it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you. I think our next. Did anyone know when is our next debate? When is our next?
7 days. I think it's usually after 7 days.
Is it after 7 days?
Next week Thursday.
Is it next week Thursday? So I'm looking at our next debate. Our next debate is on. Okay, let me see. I think I have it here.
Third week of the month.
It's on the 13th of May.
That's next week.
Next week, 13th of May. And we are talking about youth, young children. We are looking at the African children care system. The care system, you know, myself and Agaga was talking about, you know, back home, where they will say, go and live with your uncle. Your uncle will support you. The trauma some of our children have gone through, and also the care system in Europe. How does the care system cater for African children, for Black children? And also the care system back home, where our care system back home, whereby we use our uncles, our relatives, that goes and look after our young children and they torment their life. So we're going to be discussing that and what way can we prevent this. So guys, I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining in this amazing dynamic discussion. And do not forget, the 23rd of May, we are in Woolwich Library for the African Pop-Up Market. Come and buy from local African makers. And the 25th of May is the African Day celebration. This is set aside by UN and also the Union of African Union. So we'll be at Kibru Community Center. The Edo Masquerade will be coming. The Nigeria Orchestra Group will be coming. We have clay workshop. We have talk from great speakers. We have artifact display. It's going to be an event full to remember. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.